Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we have the official patch notes for update 4.1, the part 2 of Infinity War. And I woke up this morning, I read the patch notes a few hours ago. I really don't have much to say in a short sentence, but if I did have one sentence to say, it would be, wow! That's pretty much what you can expect from this patch note breakdown. So let's jump right into it. We've got pretty much a summary in words of everything that we can expect, plus a lot more that they don't talk about. So I'm just going to skip through this. We have 8 new uniforms, so a definite surprise for a lot of people about Doctor Strange being added as a uniform. That is the one we were not expecting whatsoever, and you'll be even more surprised when you see how much it costs. So let's quickly dive into the actual uniforms. Scarlet Witch looking pretty nice, looking pretty nice. She's getting a change to her skill. I think it might be a little bit of a downgrade. It's an upgrade because there's an increased to decreased energy damage received, but it's got a cooldown. I don't know how that's going to play in with her and her abilities, but we'll have to see. And they're also giving her physical damage reduced. So she's basically in total getting 15% damage reduction. So she's going to be harder to kill. On the offset, she's immediately harder to kill by speed types and her brother, who does physical damage mostly. Most speed types deal physical damage, and she's blast. So I can see that kind of trying to cover up her weakness a little bit, but it's not a huge bump, so we'll have to see how the skills go, but that's good. We didn't want Scarlet Witch to be super overpowered. And then the big doctor, he is getting the same uniform effect that he has already, but of course, if you've seen Infinity War, and if you haven't, I'm sorry, the skill where he multiplies his hands, and then he multiplies himself, and then he uses the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak, please, basically that skill has to be in this uniform. And that would make it an instant buy. And once I tell you the price, it'll make it an instant buy. You'll actually travel into the future, purchase the uniform, and then come back and continue watching this video. Okay? Then we have Hulkbuster, War Machine. Hulkbuster looks pretty good, 15% damage reduced, like Thor. War Machine looks pretty nice with the 10% all attack. It doesn't look great because of the cooldown, but we'll have to see how it works because it says machine gun activated automatically and fires continuously, so that could be damage that just rolls out for 7 full seconds in addition to the buff, so that could theoretically boost his damage by a lot. But I'm hoping to see the magic happen in the skills. I don't want to overly criticize the bonuses because we know how that went down and how that worked for Winter Soldier. Star-Lord doesn't seem to be getting too much. He's got the dodge and he's got the buff to his ignore dodge passive and his leadership, so it's just kind of okay. One of the big standouts, at least as far as the uniform bonus, Rocket getting a brand new uniform bonus, which is rare. Netmarble doesn't do that very much anymore. 25% increase to all attack is humongous, because pair that with his 25% all attack bonus for a mythic uniform, and you've got 50% all attack. Yes, that's a huge number for Rocket. And you'll see it gets even higher when you find out that he gets his potential raise to level 70, which means he can go to gear level 25. Ebony Maw is getting a decreased damage from universals and an increased damage to universals, so that makes him very flexible for PvP because he can fight off even his own master Thanos, you know, because it doesn't have to do with villains and heroes, it's just all universals straight out. And then we have Black Dwarf. He's getting a damage decrease received, which is excellent. He needs the tankiness. And then it's really improving his 4-star passive. Now when he gets below 80%, he's going to heal up 15% of his health over 5 seconds, because 3 times 5. And then he gets that buff. That's pretty nice. We could see like a Hulk kind of comparison coming out here. Hulk, Ragnarok Hulk, of course. And that's a pretty damn good character, and not to mention that he has a great uniform leadership bonus that makes him pretty relevant for the meta. Now here's the part where I'm very impressed. All of the uniforms besides Doctor Strange's are the kind of second tier price that we've come to expect, the 1050. So that includes Wanda's uniform. Despite the fact that she's as expensive as Thanos, they did not make her uniform more expensive. However, take a look at the second row there. Doctor Strange's Marvel's Infinity War. Discount rate 80%. 350 crystals. Wow. I never expected Netmarble to do that. That's a fantastic kind of thank you to the community. And yeah, that's a must buy. It's an instant buy. The uniform might never be that cheap again, so I would strongly recommend purchasing it right now. It'll probably be that expensive eventually, but it might not come around immediately, so I recommend, yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing that. That's awesome. We have the new tier 3 skills for Iron Man and Spider-Man. We get the house call protocol, or the house party protocol for Iron Man, and we get some kind of webbing bonanza blitz from Spider-Man. So those both look amazing. We'll have to see just how much damage they do and what kind of effects they offer to the characters once we get our hands on the actual update, but I'm super excited. Then we have the new world bosses. We have Corvus and Cull Obsidian. Pretty excited for those. As we predicted, Corvus is dropping speed books, and Cull Obsidian, or Black Dwarf, is dropping blast books. We have some changes to the portrait for world boss rankings, which basically shows the uniforms that you have equipped, because right now it's not showing the uniforms, it's just aesthetically. And we have the accumulated XP for the raid levels changing the way it shows as well. We have new potential for 7 different characters, so that means they can go to level 70, they can get their gear to 25, and do all the stuff that we were doing one update ago for the likes of Proxima, Winter Soldier, Black Widow. So we've got Star-Lord, Rocket, Black Dwarf, Ebony, Hulkbuster, War Machine, and Scarlet Witch. So those are all the characters that are getting uniforms, minus Doctor Strange, because he already got his potential raised last update. So it pretty much makes sense and falls in line with what we expected based on the information that we got from the last update. And then we have just a slew of quality of life changes. These don't necessarily replace game mode changes, but this is basically the next best thing we could have hoped for. And I am personally saying I'm floored, I'm shocked at how many quality of life changes Netmarble was able to cook up for this update. They must have been saving it, because they just went all out, like Frank Castle with his arsenal of weapons, and it works. So the Shield Lab is getting a huge change. We're getting a new currency called Dimension Tokens. Dimension Tokens will be directly usable in the Shield Lab at various different positions, including in the item shop of the Shield Lab. So it's not a premium currency for, you know, something crazy like Ultimates bios or crystals or something like that, but it's still very useful. So the warp device is getting an overhaul. Presumably it's going to give better rewards. It's also going to reward you if you use the characters that they recommend, like Villain Siege. So that's excellent, because it gives us incentive to build our roster more. And if the rewards are good enough, the dispatched recommended character rewards are good enough, it could really incentivize people to build their rosters a la Shadowlands. So that's a big A+ from me. I love game modes or any kind of changes that encourage you to build your roster and not just focus on the, you know, 30 or so super meta characters. And they follow the same value of rarity in terms of uniforms and world boss invasion boxes, from common all the way to mythic. So there's a little RNG base there, depending on what kind of missions you get, the rarity of missions. With these changes to the Shield Lab, I would recommend, well, there's 2 schools of thought, essentially. You could try to upgrade your Shield Lab or your warp drive, warp mission thing, or the item shop as fast as possible now before the update, because the cost of upgrading it afterwards could include dimension tokens, of which you'll have none when it goes live, and you'll be kind of behind. Or if you think that the price is going to be less when the update drops in terms of overall cost per upgrade, you could wait. So it's really up to you what you want to do. I don't know, or I can't say with certainty which one is going to be a better option. Personally, if I were you, I would start upgrading, but everything I have in the shop is upgraded fully except for the processor, which for me is level 14, so I don't have that situation to deal with, but that's just my advice for you. They're taking out the instant clear function for the lab, for the warp drive, and then they're discussing some other things, and they're not giving biometrics anymore. So that's pretty cool. They're adding in some new items that you can get. So in addition to the dimension tokens, you can also use them for the item shop. The item shop has been criticized a little bit because it is very valuable to both veterans and new players. New players go there for dimension debris and gear up kits, and even Nornstones, and veterans go there for obelisks, and I think just obelisks, maybe gear up kits as well. But the price of a lot of the items is really out of whack, especially for the items that cost crystals. You know, a 4-star obelisk costs like 300 crystals. There's no way anyone would purchase that. It's ridiculous. 10 bios costs 180 crystals. It's bananas. But they're changing it around this time. I'm not sure how they're going to be buffing it, because I think we have 15 rows not 15 rows, but there's a lot. There's a lot of rows of items in the Shield Lab right now, and they're reducing it to 6, but they're additionally having an extra slot here that's unlockable, I believe, by purchasing items. So if you purchase enough items during the rotations, you'll build up this meter from 0 to 100%, and then once it gets to 100%, it'll reveal a special item or a rarer item that you can then purchase for a certain amount of gold or crystals, or possibly dimension tokens. Hopefully it's not crystals, because even though these items are very good, and it shows you a list of some of the potential items which are awesome, which include clear tickets and hidden tickets, which is fantastic, and also ISO 8 Awakened, which is also fantastic because we need those net marble. But if they're purchasable with crystals, it'll be a little bit disappointing, because no one actually will end up purchasing them with crystals unless it's extremely cheap, because we still have those items sold for crystals in the regular feature shop. So it would be nice to see them purchasable here for a different currency, whether it's millions of gold or thousands of these dimension tokens. But we'll have to wait and see. So that's the explanation of the item shop as I understand it, and then it shows you that you're going to need those tokens to rank it up now, which is why I said you might want to rank them up now in advance. And they're just making some aesthetic changes to the antimatter generator so you can do the math more easily for people like me. And then we have changes to Alliance Battle, but they're just kind of personal changes. They're adding in a way of seeing your rank, I guess, among everyone in the world. I don't know if that's good or not, but it will, of course, encourage some people to try harder at Alliance Battle Extreme. But we still need game mode changes to those in order to be more excited about playing them. And then we have new Uru Amplification upgrades, so now you can upgrade your Uru even faster. You can blow money or gold even faster by doing the chain amplification 10 times. So it's just like the ISO 8 re-rolling, where they added an option to spam it, and so you can get to 4 or 5 rolls faster. I'm a little bit wary of this one because a lot of people will settle for 4 rolls, and I don't think it's going to settle for 4 rolls for this chain amplification. I think it's only going to stop if you hit 5, so it'll skip over a bunch of 4s, which are good enough for a lot of people. So I don't think I'm still going to be using this, but we'll have to see how it works in practice. And there are still some characters that I absolutely need 5 for certain gears, so it's still useful, and it's nice that they added in the option. It's always good to have the extra options. They're changing the item storage, and this is going to make a ton of people happy. They're stacking all of the tickets. So from now on, if you have any kind of rank up tickets, any kind of mega rank up tickets, it's gonna stack. So huge upgrade in our inventory management simulator within Marvel Future Fight. I think this is a fantastic thing. I think it should have been, of course, added updates ago, maybe possibly even years ago, but it's very nice that they're finally realizing it and doing it. You know, it's better late than never. So that's great. And then they're also giving us VIP bonus improvements, which is wild. I didn't expect them to do that. And the rewards for VIP players is actually pretty impressive. So if you've spent a lot of money on this game, if you've invested a lot, you're kind of starting to get some of your return back that you might have been feeling that you missed out on in the past few months. So VIP level 17 and up, which is admittedly quite high, is where you're going to see the majority of the rewards. So there's going to be additional co-op rewards for level 17 up to level, or at level 17 and at level 20, not 18 or 19. Character XP will now be obtainable with clear tickets starting at VIP 1. So as long as you're not a pure free-to-play player, you will get some character XP when you use clear tickets, and that amount will scale up as your VIP level goes up. So usually what they do, unless they're going to recalculate the formula, is that it'll give you a certain number of clear tickets. So for example, at VIP 1, the first 10 clear tickets you use will give you the full character XP. And then for VIP 2, maybe it's 15 clear tickets or 20, and so on and so forth. But in addition to that, the huge change is uniform XP earned. Yes. They are going to allow from VIP 17 and up uniform XP to be calculated and given when using clear tickets. That is going to exponentially increase and shorten the amount of time that high VIP players have to grind to get their uniforms up to Mythic. That's a fantastic change, and it is something that I know a lot of high VIP players want because they have a lot of uniforms. They have them trying to get them all Mythic, for example, and it takes thousands. We did the math of runs to get those to, you know, mythic level. We'll have to see just how many runs they can use with clear tickets. If it's a short number, if it's less than, I'd say 50 per month, I don't know how they calculate it, but if it's a very small number, or maybe it's per day, then it might not be worth it. But hopefully they've calculated it and it's fair. And it works, and it's now even in Dimension Rifts. I didn't even notice that the first time around. Dimension Rifts don't normally offer Uniform XP, so they're actually changing the entire structure of Uniform XP acquisition specifically for VIP level 17 and up. So that's pretty wild. They're also changing around the icons for tier 2 and tier 3 and regular tier 1 characters. Personally, I don't like the Roman numerals, but that's just me. I guess some people were finding it difficult to identify a tier 3 Captain America from the little crown thing around his tier 2 symbol. Let me know in the comments below whether you like this new change or not, but that's just my opinion. The potential meter is also being added to characters who have potential available for them in World Boss, which is very nice. So you don't have to keep constantly going back and seeing, oh man, is this character at 100%? I know myself, when I was live streaming, I had an extra word pad opened and I had typed out all the characters with all their potential so I could keep track of it personally, so I wouldn't have to switch back and forth, but that's kind of corny, so I'm glad they added this in. But one of the best, if not the best quality of life change, as long as it doesn't cost crystals, is this line right here. And this one is specifically for me. You can now change today's world boss at a cost. So a lot of people were complaining that the books, the combat books for Proxima, were very hard to get, and they were getting unlucky like me and not getting Proxima as their today's world boss. To date, I've only gotten Proxima once in over a month of playing world boss every single day. So over 30 attempts, and I've only gotten her once. 1 out of 30, boys. Horrible stats. Now I'm going to be able to get Corvus whenever I want, or Black Dwarf whenever I want, as long as it doesn't cost crystals. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'm very, very happy that they did that. Now they only have to address the Cosmic Cube Fragment drop rate. And then they're going to do some stuff with XP chips. They are going to change some stuff in Villain Siege. They're going to add a bunch of uniforms purchasable with gold, which I think is another huge thank you to the free-to-plays, and kind of, not a thank you, but kind of a little gift. Not that any of these uniforms are particularly good anymore. Honestly, I don't think any of them. Marvel's Ant-Man, I guess, is okay, but all of the other uniforms have been replaced by better uniforms at this point. But you get them all for free, basically, for 500,000 gold a pop. Yeah, for new players, 500,000 gold is a lot, and there's 14 uniforms, so that's a lot of, it's like 5, 6, 7 million gold. I just did the math now, guys. Are you proud of me? So 7 million gold is a lot, but they're free, basically. So if you have the chance and you need them as upgrades for other uniforms, kind of options, I would recommend purchasing them. They may not be for sale for gold forever, but we'll have to wait and see. And then they're going to bring back the Tony Stark's supply chest. It's kind of weird because it says if you've purchased it in the past, it will no longer be available. So it sounds like a once per account thing, and now I'm reading it again. It is only purchasable once per account. So yeah, I guess that was fun while it lasted. And then they're doing a bunch of bug fixes. So they're fixing Apocalypse's 5th skill. They're fixing the Adam Warlock 6-star glitch. They're fixing Captain America 2099 ultimate skill visual bug. And they're changing a couple of things. And they're also changing the issue of Captain America using his tier 3 skill when he shouldn't in both Shadowland and Alliance Conquest. So for those of you that were worried that Spider-Man or Iron Man would be doing their tier 3 skill in Shadowland after the update, probably not, unless they fixed one and left the other two out as a kind of bad surprise. So there is the maintenance notice. It begins in about 10 hours and a half for me. It'll be a little bit later by the time you watch this video, but let me know how excited you guys are for Infinity War Part 2. I am personally super hyped, if you can't already tell, and I'm actually pretty impressed that Netmarble nailed so many quality of life changes to go along with so many great surprises, Doctor Strange, etc. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you're excited on Twitch and you want to watch the live stream, I'm going to be starting at midnight, just 2 hours before the maintenance ends. And I'll be going way past the maintenance into the gameplay, trying out all the uniforms, getting all the stuffs, and seeing how it all plays out. So if you want to see it live, hit me up on Twitch in about 14 hours from the drop of this video. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. Hit the bell if you don't want to miss any of my content. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.